Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rob Spiewak. Take it away, Rob.
At defensive tackle, number 95, Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson.
I'm over here now.
I told you at the top of the show, you got to be a mutter if you want to make it in this industry. You know, in horse racing, they say you got to be a mutter because you're always running on a sloppy track. Is that fair? Okay. Joining us now, cable news host known affectionately around here as Glue Stick. I'm kidding. She can mud with the best of them. The K train is here. There it is. Good to see you. I'm very pro-horse. One of the things that doesn't come up enough in media is the Bobcat Goldthwait movie where he, fixes a horse race. I don't even know the name of the movie, but the horse's name was Don. That's what I know. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I don't know that Bobcat Goldthwait gets the shout-outs he deserves in conservative media, so I just wanted to open with
It was
one.
very funny.
Police Academy, some of the best movies I've ever seen.
I mean, his
Hot
voice
to
was...
trot.
Hot to trot. That's
Good job. There's nothing Josh hasn't seen except the film he was watching on the Long Island Railroad. Do you know the story? One night after hanging out with you and going our separate ways, as Journey would say, in bad shape.
Oh.
I made the train, and I wasn't working in radio yet. I was a guest on some of these radio shows. Josh commutes home at night with an iPad and headphones and the absolute exterior of a guy whose entire posture screams, leave me the alone.
Wow.
But I spot him on the train and I'm like, hey! And I sit down. Josh, can you confirm my reporting is accurate?
Yes, very much. I did not get through that episode.
Whatever it was. I owe him an episode. Hi!
Jim came to chat.
So do you ride this train every day? What's it like? You always get a window seat? And he's still not even taking the headphones off. So Josh figures he would know the reference. But that being said, when you talk about the being a mutter and the sloppy news cycle we're in, we'll start at the top with Hegseth because we both worked alongside of him. This is getting a little crummy, as the kids like to say. The hot rumor right now, and this comes on the heels of the Wall Street Journal report, is that Trump might give it to DeSantis, who has a governorship that's basically they're running out the clock in 2026, and he'd have to appoint a senator, which could ultimately be Lara Trump.
Yes.
Which, as politics go, that is how the game works. Mm-hmm. But I also think that kind of leverage might be working against our former colleague, Pete Hegseth. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I mean, I know that Pete Hegseth is a redeemed man. Mm-hmm. I know that he is a changed man. I know that he has been very honest about some of his past challenges, but he has really devoted himself to God. Mm-hmm. And he's a different person. And he was a good person to begin with, but, he has been redeemed. I don't think that that's important when you reach critical mass, and it feels like there's been a lot of really disgusting, dirty personal tidbits that have been piled on him in short order by several media outlets, and it feels very coordinated. And part of this, I'm wondering what everyone knew going into it. I'm wondering what the truth is. And, they say that rumors take the elevator and the truth takes the stairs. So even if there is some correcting to be done on these articles, I don't think anyone's going to be paying attention to it. No. Bottom line, I would be surprised if he makes it to the actual nomination process.
Fair. That's fair. It has a very Kavanaugh vibe. But I had told our listeners early, okay, Pete has 7 kids. This is a man who doesn't pull out. Good night, everybody. Gotta go. Okay, thanks for coming. Okay. So you just don't know. You don't know. Okay, and we're just going to monitor this situation.
A couple of my kids might be his. I'm not sure.
You just don't know. Okay.
I mean, he's that effective. It's just proximity is all you need. You don't even need intimacy. That's how good the guy is.
No,
that's if he's going to run his gamete game.
The social distancing guidelines from COVID were inspired by Pete. You had to stay 6 feet away.
That's the only way. But if he runs the Pentagon, the way that
Shout out to Pete, because I know he was meeting with senators, but he probably rushed the meetings to hear this commentary. He's probably somewhere in the Russell building listening to the show.
Yeah, he's probably got his headphones on, and
like,
Pete, we're here for you. We're not senators, so our opinions don't matter.
Listen, McConnell, I'd love to stay and chat. Jimmy and Kennedy, they got a thing going on. So there's that. So that's number one. Okay. It only gets uglier from here. We've got a subway murder verdict or potential manslaughter verdict that is hanging in the balance, could come down any minute now. Is a person who rides a subway from time to time. You and I both know.
Every day. I've taken 3 train rides today. Yep.
Okay. And
didn't have anywhere to go. Just got on the train.
She just, that old Rod Stewart video, Downtown Train?
Yeah.
She's tossed to it so many times from her MTV
downtown, uptown, round town. I packed a light lunch.
Doesn't matter.
I had some topics on note cards that I busted out so I could have a little conversation with my fellow train goers.
Yes.
It was a lovely afternoon.
Yeah, and the best part is she did all of this without a Metro card. Just hop that turnstile and go.
I did get a free ride and a pair of beads.
There it is. Hey! So there's a reality to the subway. Okay, we laugh at it as a way of kind of coping with it, is we know it's kind of an insane asylum in the sense that it's very frequent to be on there playing the game like, dear God, don't come to me.
Yes.
When there's a screaming hobbit lunatic that's in people's faces.
So I had a screaming lunatic a couple weeks ago, and he was big and scary. I think I might have told this on your show. He was well dressed and clearly out of his mind. And he was like, all right, whoever is here from the future, you have to tell me. And he's like, am I already dead?
Oh, God.
Are you Satan? I will not bow down before you. Am I Satan? And he's just screaming, just stalking up and down the train. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And of course, I'm trying to avoid his gaze, and I'm next to a really big guy, which, I always try. But now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because a big guy's not going to get up. He's not going to ruin his life.
Yep.
So he's thrown in jail or, has his entire life savings and his family savings depleted to pay for lawyers.
Oh. And that's the point, is that this jury, and this prosecution to me appears to have been brought through a political prism, through a political lens. If this jury actually convicts him, they make the subway less safe in the process because it does discourage the Daniel Pennies of the world. That's number one.
Well, yeah, and guys have to ask themselves, am I the one who would stand up and protect the train?
Yeah.
And I hope there are more good guys than not who would do that. But now it's sad that you have to stop and think about it.
You think of the guy who owned the bodega who got rung up. They tried arresting him.
Jose Alba.
Yeah, Jose Alba. And they tried to, lunatic in his place. But that's part of our reality here, guys. If you're listening around the country, we kind of joke about it in a weird way, but we all have this constant experience. And this is reality. You want to know what my worst one was? And it was also just comical. So when Caroline's was still open, Lincoln was legitimately a week old. Okay, it was the first week of December 2008. So Obama's president-elect.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a great story. I was talking to our pal Dean Imperial. Right outside of Caroline's used to be a Familia Pizza right there on 50th Street on the corner. And if you're standing there on the sidewalk, you can hear the subway underneath you because there's this massive grate on the corner of 50th and Broadway. So I was talking to Dean and I heard the subway pulling in. So I was like, let me run. I'm getting in the subway. I'll call you when I get out. And it was one of those nights where the one train, which would be the local track, has a 2 train on it. So it's running express to the Bronx.
So you never know when it's going to stop. That's awful. That's the worst.
Sometimes, guys, our express train runs on our local track, and if you don't notice it, instead of going maybe 10 blocks to your stop, you might go 200 blocks to Yankee Stadium. This happens to us frequently.
And then there's no way of getting back.
There's no way of getting off. So anyway, I hang up on Dean. I sprint down the stairs, hurl myself across the finish line like full chariots of fire. The minute my body hits the seat, I notice I am the only man in the train car. It's just me. I got my own train car, except down the other end, there's a man who might be 6'10" with a screwdriver who is screaming about William Polite. I don't know who William Polite is, but I do know he doesn't hate William Polite because this is what's going on in the train. Just a man swinging a screwdriver. He's like, I do not hate William Polite. His mother is a fine woman. I don't hate him. Why would you say I do? and it's just me, and it's just him.
Like as fine as Zach Wilson's mom.
And then but yes, it's in one of these. It's Stacy's mom. This guy originally had a crush on Stacy's mom. This was the second song. It was William Polite's mom. So anyway, he's screaming, and it's just me and him on the train, and I hear the announcement. It's the only time you've ever heard the subway announcer speak clear English, because it's always garbled. And he's like, "Wow, number 2 train running express, 153rd Street in the Bronx." And I was like, "My God!" But as I sat there, and you don't talk to the guy. You just let it play out. That's your hope. Okay. He started giving out advice to his fellow homeless people that was good advice. Do you want to hear what he said?
Yes.
So he starts rattling out. He goes, "Yo, some of you mother effers be on this train asking for people money for something to eat. They offer you a sandwich instead. You don't take it. That makes us look full of S." And he's like, but he's not. There's no one on the train. But it's good advice.
It's great advice.
He's really thinking about the hustle, and he's thinking about William Polite. And I made it all the way up to 153rd, which is the worst feeling in the world.
It's not a good part of the Bronx.
Not the best. Do you guys know in the movie Vacation when roll them up? Roll them up. So I get off at 153rd, and I then have to take a local back home, which is about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But we do this every day in New York. And in this particular instance, there's women and children on the train who are all on camera, on record, and under oath saying the guy's a hero.
Yes.
So how do you
and
convict
saying,
him?
I take the train every day.
Yeah.
I've taken the train every day to and from work for the last 30 years. I've never been so scared in my life.
Yep.
How do you not acquit him like within 30 seconds?
Yeah, he just shouldn't have been charged.
Like the OJ jury needed less time.
Did you see that false alarm this week? So that there was a TMZ report that somebody had a thumb drive of OJ confessing to the murder. He handed it over in 2022, but they updated the reporting last night to say there's no OJ on the thing. So we got
It was Orange Juice Jones.
I saw you and him walking in the rain. Do you guys not know that song? Look it up. Kids, clap along.
Come on.
Just the boys.
Where's your Shazam?
Just the days. Come on, let's go. Great jam. So the point is, it's a sloppy track in any direction you run. And then all of that compounded by the fact we just had a murder 3 blocks away, across the street from the Christmas tree lighting. I start here. You know this, I know this. The NYPD is doing the greatest job in the world. Like, they're phenomenal. They're so underrated. They don't get enough appreciation.
They'll find the guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not only will they find the guy, but they'll find the guy while simultaneously allowing 1 million people to congregate around the Christmas tree.
Yes.
And get it done. So they deserve, some type of a shout out and a tip of the cap. And then we've got this disgusting Supreme Court case going back and forth about puberty blockers for underage kids. I honestly, who's ready for some comedy? But anyway, it's all a mess. There's no good direction to look in. And then I could add the Hunter Biden, Joe Biden thing. This is all I wanted from you. Sometimes we do some adulting. Okay, everybody in the media is talking about, well, Biden lied. And the people on the left are outraged that they lied for him because they were using the moral high ground thing, which was...
He's a politician.
Yeah.
Why are you guys carrying water for any elected official?
And there's not a single solitary person who didn't believe he would ultimately pardon his son.
Yes.
We all did. Every one of us did. But the fact that nobody is reacting to this pardon from the angle of, but he pardoned his kid all the way back to a very specific date in 2014. Really certainly reads like the president was part of this, A, or B. There's just a lot more because it's not the crime he was pardoned for.
No. So that's when the statute of limitations has not run out.
Yes. But so shouldn't we be looking at that, is what I'm trying to say. Isn't it weird that that doesn't get the light of day?
Yeah. So that's what has really upset people. Like, they thought that they were going to realize the depth and breadth of presidential pardons with Trump.
Yeah.
But they're seeing it with Biden.
So
a lot of people are going, well, maybe that's too much power. It's like, oh, you think?
You think so?
Yeah.
Dopes.
So, but here's why I think he pardoned him, because Trump was going to pardon Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
He was.
As a gesture.
It's like he looked death in the face and he won.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Yeah.
But he was going to pardon him. Joe Biden did not want Donald Trump to get credit for that.
No.
Yeah. He's like, I got to do one thing right. And it's like, actually, that's not the right thing to do. It looks great if Trump does it.
Yeah.
He looks like he's taking the moral high ground. It's like, they go low, we go high. He went high there.
Yeah.
If you're really part of it. And it looks horrible if Joe Biden does it. It's a no when he doesn't care. He's like, my legacy is shot.
Yep.
She lost. She stabbed me in the back. Nancy stabbed me in the back. I'm not taking their advice. I don't want my son to be in prison. I don't have any friends anymore. He's the only friend I've got.
Yep.
Dr. Jill is annoying. And she made me do it.
He's writing an OJ if I did it. You know, if I did. Well, you did. Oh, well, in that case. Fascinating. But the blanket immunity, a little shady. So I'm going to just a little shady.
I can't disagree with you.
A little shady, but we're not going to talk about it because it's over. I mean, he's leaving. And that's the funniest part of right now is like, there's always a transition. Okay, when one administration hands off to the other. But have you ever seen a less relevant occupant of the Oval Office or the Naval Observatory than them?
No.
It's fascinating.
I mean, we were on the brink of World War III.
Yeah.
She was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
He was asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally was. He thinks that he's a bear and he hibernates. On December 1st. Yeah.
He's picking up nuts on the White House lawn.
Yeah. Oh, these berries are delicious. I'll have some salmon. Go into my cave.
And she's
to
hammered.
the great Rehoboth in the sky.
So I'm just so mad because when we were on the 5 this past week, maybe for our own good, it didn't come up, the Kamala video that she filmed.
That
Dude,
was wild.
I mean,
I saw that and I was like, how could you ever make a case for her sobriety?
I thought it was like a
the
deal.
only time she's been sober is the debate. That's it. Show the debate. Show 2 minutes from the debate and 2 minutes of that video. Put them back to back.
Yeah.
It'll blow your mind.
Did you honestly, this is not a joke, was there a part of you that a minute in wondered if it was AI? Because her posture, her cadence.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a visibly
it was so
impaired person.
Intentionally slurry. It's like, and we're not going to do it.
Yeah,
we're just going to keep in the fight. I just want to, I was thinking him. And it's like, lady.
Literally saying, don't let them take your power away as someone reached into the frame.
Don't take their power. Let them take you away.
As you see an arm reach in and take her car keys away, just like reaches into the frame and drags them away. I mean, it was stunning. And I have this quick theory. We have a minute. I have a theory that, the campaign's in the red and they're still trying to raise additional money. Mm-hmm. I don't doubt there was a donor who was like, hey, we'll give you $1 million to cut an inspirational video and we'll see how people respond to it, if only to show the world she's hammered and give other donors permission to walk away.
Yes.
Because I don't know how they're going to raise this money. I don't think they will.
They're not going to raise it. Nope. I mean, how did she spend that money?
$1.5 billion.
My God. She needed Elon and Vivek in charge of her campaign finances.
We need a Doge for Kamala.
No, you're not buying that. No, you're not hiring them.
They needed a squirt gun, like when you train a cat. No more Cavassier, Madam Vice President. You got to drink well liquor from here. Okay, Train. You're the best.
Jim!
There it is. Back after this.
You're listening to the best dad on the radio.
Can't believe you forgot my birthday.
You're with Jimmy Failla on Fox Across America.
You're listening to Fox Across America with Jimmy Failla. For these stories and a lot more, log on to newstalkflorida.com. News, information, and talk. News Talk 1040 WHBO.